Hi there, folks. It's Jonathan Denwood, and thank you for attending this webinar. I've got my great friend and colleague, Spencer Forman. We're going to be going through all the things that you need to know in creating gorgeous sales funnels that convert leads into paying customer and members, and that's what you really need to know. So for the first 25 minutes, I'm just going to throw it over to my friend Spencer. Spencer's got a great presentation to do. Then if people have got any questions, or we're probably just going into a general conversation about the first 25 minutes, my observations. Hopefully we're going to have some people joining us live, and they will have some questions as well. So over to you, Spencer.
Well, thank you very much. And this is fun because usually on Fridays I'm with you on the WP-Tonic show, but today I wasn't. Saving my my pipes here because of the talking. So thanks everybody for joining us. We're just going to have a fun lunch. Hope you guys have a cup of coffee or a sandwich or something, because today I'm going to talk about sales funnels. And I'm going to talk about sales funnels in the context of people who are already familiar with using a CRM. So a couple fun terms, let's define it. A CRM is something that you might know of by the brand names of like an Activecampaign or a Salesforce or an Infusionsoft or a MailChimp. It's essentially a tool that you use for contact management. When you're dealing with prospective leads and customers, you have to have a way to communicate with them. Now, over the years, that automation that comes with it has been really well known and really well perfected. But only recently have you been able to connect your CRM to your WordPress world. And in doing so, you sort of plug in the power of all the things that WordPress can bring to you for your business. Well, what things are that? The ability to take in paying customers, to see paid content or free content, to give them learning management tools, to pay out affiliates for referring traffic, to do e-commerce. Just about anything you want to do can be handled in the system that is self-hosted in a very simple plug-and-play way with a tool called WordPress, which happens to power over 1/3 of the internet now. It wasn't until recently that these worlds come together. But by bringing them together, you essentially get all of the power, all of the control, all of the ownership at a fraction of the cost of going to one of those systems like a ClickFunnels or a Kajabi or a Kartra, or home brewing it yourself. So open source software combined with your favorite CRM. Today, I'm going to give you the recipe how you can build sales funnel. And in doing so, you can control the user's journey through your product, through your service, through your relationship. And just like in the real world of relationships, if you can control that journey, it's mutually beneficial. Why? Because instead of wasting people's time, which is their only precious commodity, you can give people what they want to see at the time it's useful to solve a pain point that they have. And in doing so, you're more likely to know early on, just like dating, whether there's a match and whether the relationship should bother going on or call it a day. So if you got a product, if you got a service, if you're offline and you want to be online, this half hour or so is going to be really helpful to you. So I'm going to share my screen and let's dive in, because I've got a slide deck that will make this easy to understand for just about everybody. And I'm going to get my little self out of the way here. Okay, so today's topic being custom checkout experiences. You can think of those as sales funnels. It's the same thing. Imagine a machine that you poured a bunch of ping pong balls into at the top, and the balls go boop, 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 boop. They come out in a specific outcome based upon the things that happens in between time. Same thing here. We're going to take your leads or your cold traffic that you might get from a Facebook ad or a Google ad or word of mouth, and we're going to put them in the top of a system that works every time to turn them, more likely than not, into paying customers. And in doing so, you get the outcome you need. So who am I? I'm basically a person who's been in the WordPress space since the very beginning and become an expert in marketing automation and marketing in general. Over the years, I've helped more than 30,000 clients and students to really learn how to build powerful membership sites with those kind of key features. But today I really focus on the idea that a very small stack of WordPress plugins allows you to achieve the goal that used to cost thousands upon thousands of dollars a year or more. Now, most people that I deal with have two pain points, right? They have what I call the shiny ball syndrome, or they have what I call the Frankenstein monster syndrome. The shiny ball syndrome is simple. It's like you go into Home Depot and you need something for, I don't know, fixing your kitchen sink. Ooh, 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 ooh. There's so many things to choose from. They all look exciting. And so you grab them all and throw them into a cart. Never works out well. The Frankenstein monster syndrome is similar. You get good advice from well-intentioned people, but it's not fully aligned with the other things that you've already bought or used or what you want to accomplish. And so you're just bringing in body parts and it's sewing them together until finally you've got something that sort of works, but it scares the townspeople and you have to go after it with a torch. So solving that problem is simple. A modern online business is really like going to the IKEA store. Remember in the days when we could go to a store, or to the Lego block store if you have kids. In doing so, you end up with a situation, and I'm going to check with John. John, just pipe in here. The thing is popping in. Is that you texting me? Because if you are trying to get to me and I'm not seeing it, I don't want to miss it.
I'm just welcoming some of the people that are joining us.
Okay, cool. The reason I asked, sorry to interrupt the flow, is because it pops on the screen and I don't know if that records for you or I see it, but it keeps popping on the screen. So I'll ignore it from now. So like an IKEA store or like a Lego block store if you have kids, a modern online business is a very small stack of just 4 to 6 plugins, I'll talk about in a second, most of which are free, that allow you to modularly snap together the sales funnel experience you want with no coding and no development experience. Really simple. And at the end of today's presentation, I'm going to show you how you can get your own copy of a ready-to-go stack that you can use for 7 days or more for free to see how it works out for you. So this is a diagram that shows what a modern online business works. And think of it like Planet WordPress. You don't need to know what WordPress is or care, but WordPress is the underlying software upon which these plugins run. And as I said, it's used by more than 1/3 of all websites on the internet today. In this world, you've got your plugins inside where the people are, acting and reacting with your website, right? The website, you've got the ability to have a transactional engine, learning management system. You got the ability to give them content that is protected or not. But orbiting Planet WordPress is your CRM. That's the tool that you're using for doing marketing communication. So you have the people interact on the WordPress website. We synchronize them up to your CRM. The CRM is used to create kind of interesting automations, such as when somebody does this or that, wait 3 days and then send them a follow-up email or change something on the site. So the CRM is an accessory, sort of like a satellite orbiting your simple plugins on WordPress. And then everything else is synchronized from that point forward. Because we're in a no code and no design world, most people I come to realize with like sort of a great sigh of relief, they don't have to become mechanics. They don't have to be coders or designers. Instead, they can focus 100% of their energy on the things that matter to their business, which are marketing and building customer relationships. Even if you run a charitable organization, which we represent many of them, who don't take money, you're still spending your time on the thing that's most beneficial for the business of your charitable organization instead of trying to become a WordPress expert or a CRM expert. Now, the simple stack looks something like this. And there's a couple places where you can interchange. At the top of the stack is WordPress. That's the free software that's open source that lets us have what we call a content management system, where we can plug in all of the Lego blocks. It's kind of like the little plate that you snap your Lego blocks onto if you have kids. You can use any themes you want, but usually if you're using a normal stack, just go with the free Astra theme or the Elementor Hello theme. If you're doing social networking, you might go with the Buddy Boss themes. It's irrelevant because in today's world, the page builders do the heavy lifting. So the most popular one now is Elementor with over 6 million users. There's other ones that you can think of like, Divi and even the built-in editor of WordPress called Gutenberg. But Elementor is free, incredibly powerful, and as you'll see, lets you do everything you want to do. So just snap it in. WooCommerce acts as the transactional engine. This is the most popular plugin in WordPress because it happens to be owned by Automatic, the company that makes WordPress, and it's available for free. Almost every plugin in the entire world of WordPress will work in some way with WooCommerce. So using it is not only an advantage from the standpoint of its reliability and its great coding, but because it gives you a sort of piece of Velcro to connect to anything else you want to do and expand out the capabilities of your site. Gateways that's what you use to get paid. If you are taking money, sure, you can use PayPal, and WooCommerce supports hundreds of gateways, but the most popular one is just Stripe. There's very unlikely to be anybody on the planet who's old enough to buy who does not have a credit or a debit card in 2020, at least if you're living in the Americas. As such, Stripe makes it as simple as like 1, 2, 3, get set up in under 20 minutes to take money on a credit card. And using WooCommerce, it means that you have immediate understanding of what everybody's buying and doing. You can handle refunds and all the stuff that you need to do. LaunchFlows is our other plugin that lets us assemble all these things together, as I'll show you, into this very elegant, coherent, powerful sales funnel tool, but without having to be a coder or developer or designer. WP Fusion is the tool that allows you to use marketing automation tags and fields. When somebody sees something, clicks on something, buys something, goes somewhere, it allows us to give them a tag. It also allows us to keep track of the things they've told us about themselves. I'm Spence, I'm from Chicago, I like yellow. Those pieces of information in the WordPress site get automatically sent to your CRM so you can use them to build these simple automations to follow up. Tell me all the people from Chicago who like yellow because I want to send them this particular drip content, or I want to give them a tag that says invite them to the next webinar, or I want to give them a 50% discount because I just like people who enjoy the color yellow. Activecampaign is an example of one of the many CRMs. We support over 40 CRMs and there's more coming. Activecampaign is one of the examples of a modern one where it only starts at $9 a month for the light version. And it's just the repository, remember, orbiting planet WordPress that keeps track of your user's journey so you can send them more marketing emails, or you can do an automation based upon their behavior that gives them a reason to stay in track. And then finally, you can use a learning management system if you happen to offer online content, courses, training, other kind of private things. An LMS like Lifter, which is free, or you could use paid versions like LearnDash, allow you to organize lots of content with powerful features. You can build whole courses, you can have groups, quizzes, you can even do automation based upon people's scores during the quizzes. But in essence, it acts like a librarian to organize the content so you can provide it in the sales funnel in an order and a manner that you want. The total cost of ownership, you might notice here, is a couple $100 a year. Compare that to the cost of, let's say, one of those platforms like ClickFunnels, which is $300 a month as a starting point. And even then, you are sort of locked into what you can do. Whereas here with open source, there's so many choices how to expand. So there's 3 basic types of checkout experiences in a sales funnel. One-page checkouts. These are typically where you have all the items you want on one page. Multi-page checkouts. That's the kind of traditional where you go step by step. You go from this product to, let's say, a billing page, to a checkout page, to thank you. And then finally, unique journeys. Those are ones where you might offer unique things based upon what people have said they want. So an upsell after the checkout. Maybe you have on the checkout an order bump, then an upsell. Then if they don't take the upsell, a downsell. Or maybe you have special sales where you combine things together for a unique event. We can do all those 3 things as simple as snapping together Lego blocks. We essentially, with the LaunchFlows plugin and the WooCommerce plugin, use the existing products to build the automation in using a plugin, which is WP Fusion. Here, the configurations are as simple as just telling it, where's the checkout page? Where's the thank you page? What do you do next? And what is the type of product I'm selling? Is this something that's free, or is it something that requires it to be bought by itself, and so forth? The prospects then get to sell themselves. When you daisy chain a product to another product and then to a checkout or a sales page, you get the opportunity to allow somebody to sort of follow the breadcrumbs that attract them. So you can, in this diagram, start somebody out with one offer. Compare that to what happens when you walk into Home Depot. If, let's say, your relative or your mom or somebody who was not, let's say, sophisticated at fixing things, was told to go to Home Depot to find things to fix or replace her toilet, she'd walk in and be overwhelmed, as would anybody. Compare that to what if there was somebody standing right in front of the store and said, oh, you look like the person who needs the home toilet repair kit. Here you go. That's the difference of how you want to sell your products, because otherwise you have people wandering around the innards of your website never getting what they need or want. Versus first you offer product one, then maybe you offer some kind of checkout experience with that. Maybe you offer them an upsell. If they say yes or no, they go to a specific result. Step by step, holding their hands or giving them breadcrumbs. All the while you're doing this, you're able to track their preferences and their behavior. When you give somebody a tag, it's not that different from when somebody goes to a movie theater or a hotel. You say, oh, I bought the product, I get the tag. Oh, I got another product, I got a tag. These tags are then used to open up different things and hide other things. So your website doesn't have to look the same for everybody. In fact, it looks very unique to each person, where this is amazing. You understand me, Spence. Everything you show me is exactly what I want to see at the time I want to see it. That's because I'm able to track your viewing and your behavior, and I know which things you're exhibiting a preference for, and I then make the website respond accordingly and automatically. I get rid of everything else that would distract you, and I only show you those, yellow things that maybe you like in Chicago. So tags allow us to track the behavior, and then tags allow us to control what things are seen as a result. You get lower churn, meaning people canceling from your subscription products, greater satisfaction, and you avoid wasting people's time. You can also personalize the follow-up. So remember, orbiting planet WordPress is this little satellite, like kind of Dr. Evil, looking down on what's happening and keeping track of everything you do or click on or buy or see. Well, now you can use the power of the CRM to send follow-up emails or to send further automation responses back to the website, such as, oh, if you bought this product today, why don't I immediately send you a thank you email? Then I'll run a timer for 30 days. And in 30 days, I'll see whether you're interested in the follow-up product. Maybe like it's a warranty product, or maybe it's a thing that's an accessory. Because the CRM can do the timer and because it can do the marketing emails, it's helping the customer journey during and after the initial sale. Now, the entire point of this stack compared to a platform is it's a very, very small amount of time. I'll do it here at lunch in just 5 minutes to set up this stack of stuff. You don't need to hold on to all your old WordPress plugins, or you don't need to hold on to all your old outside SaaS services. You can save a lot of time and money and frustration just by sticking with the Lego blocks. I mean, think about it. You can buy Lego blocks today and they will snap together with Lego blocks from 40 years ago. If you could go to IKEA furniture and have a nice meatball lunch, you could buy a piece of furniture and it's guaranteed it will be able to be assembled by you at home and look fine with anything you bought before at IKEA. That modularization gives you a stable, simple system to focus your time on growing your business instead of on being a web person. So here's the recipe, and then we're going to cover this live. You're going to create, let's say, if you have membership content you want to sell. If you have a service, you don't need this. You would create content inside of your favorite LMS, like Lifter. Maybe it's a free course, paid course, or multiple courses. You then would create a tag inside of your CRM that allows you to unlock the content when somebody buys a product that gives them that tag. We'd create, number 3, a product in WooCommerce that does the selling of the tag, kind of like the movie theater, right? The theater is the course, the tag is the ticket, you buy it at the box office. You assign the tag to your Lifter LMS course or your LearnDash course for anybody who buys. And then you use LaunchFlows, for example, to create a custom checkout page. The page is where we offer this thing to them at the right moment. And then we can take them on to a custom thank you afterwards, which either says, hey, here's what you bought and this is awesome, or even takes them onto the course directly. Okay, so now that I've finished with that, let's switch over to LaunchFlows has a 7-day free trial. So what I'm going to show you here is essentially exactly what you can get today and play with yourself. You don't have to worry about any payment. We don't take credit card. You can literally log in and get it now, and you can keep playing with it for as long as necessary. But let's look at what we've got here. So inside of there, once you log in, I have a couple demos. And by the way, it's worth mentioning that if you go to the dashboard, you'll be able to see videos that explain everything that's involved in here. So if we go over here, well, let's go back. We'll start it over and we'll start from the beginning. If you go ahead and sign up in the dashboard, it will show you the videos, but I'm going to show them to you live. So I'll show you the videos at the end as well. So example 4 is a really, really simple sales funnel. This is the one we talked about where if you have a course or you have some service or product, instead of showing the traditional, here's a shop of products, click on that and go to this single product page and click on the single product page to go to a checkout. Instead, let's just get right to the point. We give the person the product in a very elegant design done with Elementor or whatever, and we can go ahead and just put them into place. And when they go to checkout, they're good to go. In fact, let me switch over here. I'm going to go to this one. So it's the same demo, but I know that this one is logged in. So here, if I go to checkout, person puts in their name, they complete the payment, you can immediately take their credit card. Now, what happens at this point? With one simple checkout, we're registering and logging the person into our system. Why? Because we want to give them access to the membership content. How do we do that? 2, we're giving them a tag that says they have purchased this particular course. 3, we're synchronizing that user's profile and that tag to our waiting in the sky CRM. So the CRM now knows that this guy Spence has joined our list, and we can start tracking his behavior to follow up in many ways. 4, I take this transaction to a very logical conclusion, a thank you page or a next product offer and so forth. So when I go to the checkout, here I'm taken to the thank you page. Notice I've got an on-screen, hey, congrats. Plus it tells me what I just bought, and conveniently it gives me the button so I can't get lost. I go immediately to the paid content. Now, how did I do that? Super simple. Remember, all we need are 3 setup steps. We need a product, a checkout page, and a thank you page. The products are default in WooCommerce. Super easy to set up. Here I've made a product for that course access. I went ahead, and it's a one-time product, but it could be a subscription as well. I charged $50. I said it's virtual because I'm not shipping it. Then in LaunchFlows, as I just described, I said, please give it its own custom checkout page. Here's the follow-up thank you page if you buy it. And here's the link that I want this product to go to if somebody buys it. Then using the WP Fusion tab, I said, could you please give somebody a tag, like a movie theater ticket, when they buy it? And notice I called it Can Access Course. Well, where does that get operated in? Well, inside of my courses, I set up the free course. I called it Sample Course. All I did was I set that up, just as I said, simply, so that if somebody has this tag, they will be auto-enrolled in the course. And here you go. Here's the tag that does it. So simple as that. Let's do another example of something that's very popular that's step-by-step. In example 3, here we've got a typical, I want to get you into my sales funnel and on my list. It could be for free. It could be for a small amount of money. I'm using a small amount of money here for a simple first product. You buy the product, and I immediately ask you for the things I need to track you and to get your future payments. So first name, last name, email, and I want you to give me your credit card because I'm going to save this information, right? So the person just puts in their particular credit card. This one button saves their payment, registers and logs them in, gives them the product, gives the tag, sends it to the CRM so I know they bought it, and instead of a thank you, now I'm offering them an upsell. What is an upsell? An upsell is usually after a checkout where somebody has indicated they're wanting to buy their first main product from you, and you think, that is the type of person who really could use this other product as well. Here, now that I own their information, if you will, I don't have to ask them for it again. They could just choose a button. Yes or no, I want to buy this. If they go yes or no, it's a one-click Amazon experience. Now they're simply processed, the order goes through or not. Now they're taken back to a thank you where we see they now have both products. And if they want to review their orders, they can go and see them inside of their dashboard. Example 2 is very popular. This is bundling or a store-like experience, but with a twist. Dynamic visibility of content. So here, let's say you have 6 courses or 6 types of products, and you want to offer them in a way that's unique from, oh my God, this whole store, it's so confusing. You can also bundle them. So maybe you're going to buy 4 of them for a particular price. Here I pay for the bundle, and then I can throw any individual product into the bundle. And there are rules that can be applied that will limit the person to, you can only get 4 of these or only 4 of this type. When they're done, they can say click to checkout, and you get a very elegant down to the bottom to pay. Now, what's cool about this is I can use dynamic content. Let's say, for example, somebody already owned the juicy grapes because maybe I gave them away with that course they just bought. Watch how easy it is to edit the content so it dynamically displays or is hidden based upon what somebody either has already bought or the fact they've already got it in their cart. I mean, think about it. Why sell somebody on something they already own or they're already saying they're going to want to buy? So if we edit our page, we can just pop in and using our very easy WYSIWYG Elementor page builder, we're going to apply a rule to this grapes element. So I select it, I click advanced, I go to our little plugin here, WP Fusion, and I say, do not show them this if they already have that tag that they just bought. Now, how does that work? Let's go ahead and have a look at the preview. And let's imagine that I had bought something else, including this, necessary tag. When I do that, what's going to happen is there will be a gaping hole. Maybe you'll set your design up better, but the product that they already have will no longer show up. Because again, why waste somebody's time to offer them to buy stuff that they already have? And then finally, if you have donations or you're a freelancer and you want to actually make it as easy as possible to get somebody to pay you a certain amount of money or any amount at all, here's what you can do. You take a single product with a 0 cost. You set up a web checkout like this with the drag and drop that either they pay a set amount like $75 to your charity or to your business, or maybe, again, hopefully you're in the freelance business, maybe they want to pay $2,500. Fine, type in the amount you owe me, click here, and then you can pay me. And I can add custom fields to collect more information about you or the product when you go through the checkout. Well, oh, this is a donation, in honor of this and that. That information will now be saved either to the order or to me as a buyer for future use by you in the automation. And then finally, you pay again, click, checkout, take into a thank you page. All of this is just 4 to 6 plugins, couple $100 a year cost, super simple to stick together. Now, many people have come to me and said, Spence, I love it. You had me at hello, but I really don't want to even learn how to do the basics with the free videos and so forth. And by the way, I was showing you in the dashboard, there are videos when you take your sample that will show up. I think because I'm doing my demo, it's not popping in, but they're in there, trust me. So if you need help, we offer consultative help. You get a free call, no matter who you are, to talk about the business and specifically say which things might work better for you. If you just want to get to done, think about if you had, let's say, I want to make chocolate chip cookies, but I'm having my boss come over and I don't want to screw these up. Well, you can do 1 hour consultative process with me directly. It's paid, but we, in that 1 hour, snap together the blocks that make your business work and you're done. Then you just worry about the copywriting and maybe the color schemes and stuff. But actually getting that entire system is as simple as just a 1 hour phone call because we're not coding it, we're not reinventing it, and we've got 30,000 plus successful people having used this kind of system. Super easy. Now, if you need ongoing care from there, I know that there are services, including Jonathan's company at WP-Tonic, that do the actual, I need an expert in WordPress to help me work with my business. If you need ongoing consultative or expertise, my company does that as well. So there are people that allow you to essentially go right to your business stuff without having to become WordPress experts or technology experts or marketing automation experts. And that's the value. So that's the presentation for today. And if there are any questions, would love to take them.
Well, it doesn't seem to be at the present moment, but I've got some questions to start off with. And then we've got a few people join us. If you've got any questions, just put them in the chat area, and I will ask those questions on your behalf. But I want to start off with is I think one of the things that scare people is using WooCommerce in this Lego mixture, because they've heard bad things about WooCommerce, that it's a bit of a beast. and there's a lot of upkeep. What I don't think they understand is a lot of the upkeep is around the templates. If you're actually using it as an e-commerce total platform, but when you're just using it as part of your Lego kit in the background, it's not so difficult of a beast. Am I correct in saying that, Spencer?
100%. And so I gave you a quick preview of the dashboard, but imagine it like this. You can buy a computer that does more things than the Apollo space computers did, right? I mean, literally thousands of times more. You can buy it, turn it on, and go to a web browser and never touch anything else that computer could do, right? Now, even my own mom, who's in her late 70s, can do that. Or it could be an iPad or an iPhone. It's exactly the same here. WooCommerce is a plugin that has a transactional engine. It allows you to onboard people. It allows you to, if you want, take money, manage relationships and subscriptions. But you don't have to do any of those things. You could do just the 1, 2, 3 basic setups, and then the rest of it just hides in the background. Because again, with the setup stack I just mentioned, including LaunchFlows, all of the stuff you're going to do is just a simple product, a checkout page, and maybe an optional thank you page. If you want to do upsell and so forth, those are just widgets. And the thing is, that's where the help comes in. The free call allows most people to see what they need. The free 7-day trial lets you play around with the Legos for long enough to go, oh, aha, I'll follow the video. And when you're done, if you need the ongoing care to just get yourself right to the solution, it's available. The typical call cost is a few $100s depending on what we're doing or what time of year it is. But even then, you get a result. So again, I'll use one other metaphor. Cars. When I was a kid, I fixed cars, the old-fashioned ones with carburetors. Nowadays, cars all have computerized controls. They're way more sophisticated. I never lift the hood of my car anymore. I don't need to, but I still drive my car, you see?
Yeah, but I think the key thing is we're using a modular-based system here, where some of like Kajabi and some of they reckon they've got it all combined, but it's still, even in their enclosed systems, it's still Lego parts, which they're developed.
Let me make a good point on that, because that's actually the opposite. Here's what happens. If you choose a system like a ClickFunnels or Kartra or Kajabi, or if you choose even like with some of the CRMs like Entreport, they have features like Entrepages or selling stuff and infusion stuff. It's a trap. It's a gilded cage. Here's why. Those are platforms. They give you what you get, only as much as you get it, and the features that you get are limited to what they've developed. If you ever want to do more, you can't, because they don't allow you access to the code and there's no third-party plugins. Now, imagine if your little kid or your nephew or something wanted to learn how to ride a bike. It's real easy to go, oh, take a tricycle, and they'll learn to ride a bike today. And it seems great. That's a platform, because it's like, oh, look, we've got everything at ClickFunnels. Look at the people with all the gold records. It must be awesome. But then people who get in there realize, wait a second. First of all, it's not that easy because I still don't know how to use any of this stuff. But when I grow my business out, I'm stuck on that tricycle. If you take the time to go to WordPress, the risk is that's scary. That's like a 10-speed bike. I'm going to fall off and hurt myself. But with the modular stack, the free hands-on help and maybe the consulting, you limit yourself to 4 to 6 things that you can get off the ground today. But guess what? You could go on to win the Tour de France with a WordPress system, because it could be grown into the world's fastest racing bike without code or anything. And so that's the difference. There's never really been, until recently, the ability to merge the worlds of the CRM with the CMS of WordPress. Now there is, and in doing so, my goal has been to simplify that. Yeah, there's 250,000 plugins in WordPress, but guess what? You need 4 of them. And we're going to show you exactly what to do with them, so that, yeah, if you want to play, go ahead, but you might be Shiny Ball and you might be Frankenstein. Instead, we can start today, get you success. And once the money's rolling in on your business, then you can go and play around with the plugins at your own leisure. So that's the difference.
Oh, thank you so much. I was going to go down what you were going to say, but you've done it much better than I could. The other thing there's 2 other things I want to quick clarify. If you do want to take subscriptions, you do need an add-on to the stack that we have, and that's the WooCommerce subscription plugin. That is correct, is it?
Yeah, well, WooCommerce subscription, there are others, but the WooCommerce subscription plugin I recommend. The retail cost of that is $199 a year. So again, 1 year under $200. And if you get one of the other plugins, there's some that are from free to less than $199.
And
the bottom line is still relatively inexpensive.
And if you've got membership or other products and you want to customize the membership page, there's another little plugin that you use regularly, isn't there?
Correct. I do it in a couple ways. For free, use something like Elementor, which allows you to make a very beautiful My Account page. Or there's a plugin called the YITH My Account area, which allows you to also do whatever you want with it. And either one or both of those are great because they don't cost much money. I think the YITH is like $69, but you can do it for free with Elementor.
Yes. I've got a question here. Are there any WooCommerce plugins that allow payment plans and allow you to set a specific payment date?
Absolutely. So one of the things that happens regularly when I have my calls from the CRM world is that people are frustrated because it's not easy for a platform, whether it's ClickFunnels or ClickFunnels, Kajabi, even like Entreport. It's not easy for them to manage subscriptions or things like installments. It's a piece of cake on WordPress with WooCommerce. So the WooCommerce Subscriptions plugin allows you to do installment payments or payment plans. There are also other ones that allow you to do things like store credit, or you can do layaways. And all of it is essentially the same basic function. WooCommerce onboards the user. You give a product that is sold to that person that is either one-time payment, recurring subscription, layaway, and so forth. And all of that is in a very elegant, simple to see dashboard. It has notifications, it has follow-up emails. So all the hard mechanical stuff is already in there, and it's so powerful, but yet takes just a couple minutes to set up. The reason that also the demo is so helpful, the free demo, LaunchFlows, is because that's the finished thing. So you could go to the demo, play with it, see it, and then when you set up your own site, just compare the settings, and you literally can just copy, step for step.
That's great. When it comes to the actual landing pages, we're going to be utilizing Elementor to build like an initial landing page to get people into the funnel. How difficult is it to use Elementor to build really and integrate and maybe with the system that we've outlined and also with Activecampaign as an example?
Right. Well, the cool thing is Activecampaign, you'll never have to touch. The neat thing is with Activecampaign, and there are 40 plus CRMs, several of them offer what we call dynamic tags. That means that once you make the connection, just put the API key from Activecampaign into WordPress. Once you've set that up, all of the tags you need to create can be made inside of WordPress. So like I showed you, when we make the product, we can just type out the tag that I want to give you, and everything else from there is going to be automatically sent to Activecampaign. Now, of course, you'll use your CRM when you want to make the follow-up emails, or if you want to do some automation logic like wait 30 days, but you don't really have to spend a lot of time in Activecampaign. As far as Elementor, now there are over 6 popular page builders right now in WordPress, probably more in the future, not only including the Gutenberg. The reason Elementor is my choice is because it, number one, is free and incredibly lightweight and powerful for what we're doing, which is the mechanics. 2, it's got 6 million users and everything under the sun wants to work with it. And so if you compared Elementor's market share to everything else, including like Divi and so forth, all the benefits are there and it's free. You don't, if you paid for the pro version, you'd pay $40 a year. I mean, my gosh. But even as the free version, it's like, hey, here's this Tesla, P90 or P100 electric car that I'm willing to give you for $5 a month or something, or free. Would you mind driving it for me? Oh, what a bother. Why use anything else? Now, some people do have an existing theme or a page builder that's old school. Even for those sites, I recommend using Elementor to do the mechanics of your sales funnel. Why? Because you can very easily take any page or post or checkout and just say on this particular page, well, thanks for offering, but I'd like to just use Elementor here. And then you can drag and drop the stuff like I was just showing you. Remember in the video, or when I was just showing it, I was going into like step 2 layout. Remember? Those pieces just drag around the screen. Simple.
So with the free version and the paid version, which is still a fantastic value, I think, am I correct in saying with the paid version, you just have access to their pre-developed landing page libraries? And that's one of the major differences between the free version of Elementor and the great value paid version of Elementor.
There's maybe 3 key elements. You're correct. Number 1 is they do have an amazing library of pre-made templates and blocks and widgets and so forth. There are also third parties that are very economical. Happy add-ons or ultimate add-ons for Elementor and so forth. There's maybe 50 companies that all make tchotchkes, including pre-made layouts. Okay, so you never, trust me, you never have to design a layout. You literally just choose a whole page or just the pieces of it, plop it into place, and you're done. So the days of design are over. As far as the features of Pro versus free, the big ones are forms, what we call attributes, which many people aren't going to happen. And then there's some accessories for things like WooCommerce. So the biggest one is forms. If you wanted to make, let's say, a custom registration form that onboards somebody for free, you can do it with LaunchFlows as a checkout, but you can also use the forms capability of Elementor and redirect them to a page. For the $40 a year, I recommend anybody just get the Elementor Pro. I mean, quite frankly, I asked them this question. If you were already thinking about using a CRM or you already have a platform like a ClickFunnels, you're paying $300+ a month anyway. You're selling a product or service that I hope you're making $300 a month on. What if I told you that the total cost of ownership for the year was $300 to $900, and that includes the Pro? It's like you've just reduced your total cost of ownership from like $3,600 a year down to $900 a year. Why cheapen yourself out of the deal of having the extra capability of, forms and pre-made templates? Ta-da.
Right. Now, when it comes to WP Fusion, you were using WP Fusion Lite. Obviously, there's WP Fusion, the Pro version. What are some of the key differences? I'm just giving you some questions which I think a lot of people would probably ask you. What are the main differences? And it seems that for the purely tagging and then the sending of automation email, the Lite version does the job. But what are the main differences between the Lite and the paid version?
Yeah, it's a great question. So in the demo here, I'm actually using the paid version, which is standard or personal. So the personal edition starts at $247 currently as of November of 2020. I highly recommend it because the difference is 2 things: webhooks and plugin interactivity. So in the free version, you can connect your WordPress site to your favorite CRM and synchronize the users, and you can give them tags for viewing a page or clicking a button or something, but you cannot give them like the ability, like I showed you, to get a tag and then auto enroll into LearnDash or Lifter.
Right.
Second of all is webhooks. What is a webhook? Well, when you're interacting on your WordPress website, there's a direct and automatic API connection that says somebody just did this thing. They clicked a button, bought a product. It sends that up to your satellite, your CRM, and it records it so that in the future you know the person did it. But then what if you did something on the satellite CRM? Maybe you sent out an email and you said, hey, everybody, are you interested in chocolate? If people click that chocolate link in the email, you want to be able to send the information back down to their user profile so that their user profile knows they love chocolate as well. That's called the webhook. And in order to have that capability, you need the personal edition. So again, a worthy investment to get the 2-way communication as well as to get the ability, to do plug-in to plug-in interactivity, because WP Fusion acts kind of like your Velcro or your USB cable. It lets all the plugins talk to each other regardless of whether they're written for each other, and it lets the website talk to your CRM regardless of what CRM you're using.
Right. So we still haven't got no questions. If you, the audience, live audience, if you've got any questions for Spencer, just put it into chat and I will put it to Spencer. But I will continue with my own questions, which I think are useful. Spencer will quickly tell me. So let's go on to membership and utilising a learning management system. So in your example, you using Lifter LMS. I think Lifter or LearnDash are both fantastic tools. Now, you have the marketing and then you have the, how do you set it up? Because both Lifter and LearnDash have their set of email which they send off.
Optional.
Yeah, and then you have a set of email which normally WooCommerce sends when somebody does a transaction. Right. And I normally add a plugin that allows individual to be able to customize those email which WooCommerce sends out a bit easier, because with the normal WooCommerce setup, it's there's not you can change the wording, but the format, the layout of the email that it sends out, there's not much you can do about it. And then you got the email which as we're using as an example, but you can use a lot of other systems, but we're just using Activecampaign as an example. You can send out, so you've got kind of three. Well, can you see why it gets a little bit confusing for people?
Let me grab the handle on that one. So this is one of the benefits of this kind of a system, because what you're describing is the problem of the shiny ball syndrome or the Frankenstein monster. I've got many plugins that in theory could just stand by themselves and they could take money, they could onboard users, they could send emails. It's like, which one should do which? Here's why this is so simple. The big boss, the one you get married to, is WooCommerce. Why? Because WooCommerce is already as close to WordPress as you can get. It's owned by Automatic. It probably should just be in the core. It does the best job of creating what I showed you, that centralized My Account dashboard. What you can do then is disable, ignore, just don't use the email capabilities of Lifter or LearnDash, the email capabilities of any of the other plugins that you have as an accessory. And instead, you use the default capabilities of, on the site, WooCommerce. Now, you brought up another point, which is that, WooCommerce emails are kind of simple and straightforward, and how do I modify them? Fortunately, it actually is quite easy with a free plugin or two that allow you to edit to your heart's content whichever of the standard emails that get sent out, as well as creating cool new additional emails. And here's how I differentiate it. There's two columns. There's the transactional emails that happen on WordPress whenever something's involving the plugins directly. Then there's the orbiting satellite marketing emails. Those are emails you send because of something outside of the actual WordPress site. That's maybe a follow-up. So for example, somebody buys your membership course, they sign up. WooCommerce sends them a, hey, thanks, here's your user account, here's your receipt. And they onboard to a course. Cool. There's another email that says, hey, you're now enrolled in the course. But what if there's the information sent to your CRM and you wait a week, like I said, to send a follow-up? Hey, Spence, how's it going with that course? By the way, we offer some accessories. That's a marketing email that would be sent by Activecampaign. Interestingly enough, most of the emails can be sent entirely from WordPress. The way we do that is, remember we talked about the webhook, right? If somebody waits 7 days and they need to have an email, instead of sending the email from the CRM could just send a tag to that user's profile. And then you could have that extra email be sent automatically because the tag exists. from the transactional email system of WooCommerce. So ironically and very simply, you could have all your emails being sent from the same sort of local source on WordPress.
That's fantastic to hear, because it's something I'm asked. I think it does cause quite a bit of confusion with a lot of people, the emails. So fundamentally, it sounds what you're saying is you use the WooCommerce as your email hub.
As your engine.
As your engine and your centralized area. What are these couple of free plugins that help you with the editing of the WooCommerce?
The neat thing about the neat thing about the WordPress ecosystem, remember we talked about like the 50,000 plugins or 250,000 plugins, is that almost all of these have a free and a paid version. So one that comes to mind recently is the Cadence editor for WooCommerce emails. Cadence is a theme author that has a theme that is not relevant or interesting to what we're talking about, but it could be used by somebody. But they make a plugin, I can dig it up here real quick, that is allowing you to modify or customize the WooCommerce emails. And that's something that it gives you a WYSIWYG editor. You can just drag and drop stuff onto the screen. You can type the words, and then you save this as a custom email. There's also a paid plugin that we use often called Follow-Ups for WooCommerce. That's the one that I use when I want to really supercharge the WooCommerce email system, because now I can have a whole number of other emails that are available for other reasons. How do I trigger those? Well, you can trigger them locally with WP Fusion in many cases, but you can also use any of the like Uncanny Owl products, or the ones that are from Wisdom Labs. They both, even YITH has these. There's like 3-4 companies that make accessories that when you do things in the WooCommerce transactional sense, you can create additional emails. But if you did nothing else, just using the core thing I just said, the Wisdom Labs free editor, and then maybe the follow-ups for WooCommerce, those alone give you almost everything you need to do. Hey, I bought the product, I enrolled in a course, I did whatever. Finally, if you are enamored with some of the features of, let's say, Lifter or LearnDash for sending automation, you may have noticed in the right corner of the screen when I signed up for the course, there was an on-screen message, on-screen notifications. That's a nice alternative, which is built into those, that lets you literally on the screen of somebody give them a message as well, which could be equally effective for what we call gamification. Gamification is where you make it fun and sort of enticing to do more stuff that the owner of the site wants you to do.
Right. So, so just to clarify, with the Kagan, which is free, and maybe you can send me the 2 email to those, and I'll make sure that there's a video, and I will send it to the people that signed up.
It's right here. Let me just show the screen real quick, because I mean, I'll pop it on just for half a second. This is the.
Well, you should have access.
Yeah, let me just pop it on. This is the Cadence WooCommerce email designer. Was I referring? And by the way, this is not the only one, and it's free in the repository. So if you did a Google search, you can see that here's their free version in the WooCommerce repository. Mm-hmm. And the other one I was talking about was follow-ups for WooCommerce. And again, if you're not technical, don't worry about this. These are just little Lego blocks. This one allows you to do all the custom emails.
I just think the email is an area that causes some confusion. So would I be correct in also saying that, so you can use WooCommerce, you're going to switch off the email functionality of Lifter or LearnDash, but you can, because I think they you can set it up so when you complete a course, it sends a certificate to the person.
Yeah, you can use it selectively.
Can you mimic all that with the WooCommerce system?
Well, I think you just hit a good point. You would use it selectively. So for example, it can let you control which emails are sent for what reason. What you're not going to do is you're not going to need or want to use the Lifter or the LearnDash dashboard. You're not going to need or want to send the onboarding welcome emails, transactional emails, because that's all just done by, you bought my course, here's what to do next. You will probably want to notify somebody with email, here's your certificate for the thing you just did. Now, How do you make it all work gracefully? Well, it's really simple. They all have, Lifter and LearnDash have short codes. Short codes for the non-initiated is just a little piece of wording that has brackets on it that you could put inside of a page that makes things happen. Well, so what we do is in the My Account area of WordPress with WooCommerce, we put the short codes under a tab that lets you see what are the courses that I have? What are the lessons I've completed? So in other words, we replace having 2 or 3 dashboards with just one, and the data is all nicely organized.
Yeah, so you got the dashboard. What I was, I didn't maybe make it clear. So are you saying that when it came to the email, like the example, you finish a course and LearnDash or Lift NMS, you can send a certificate. They both normally give you interfaces where you can switch on and off certain emails that they both send out. So with that one, would you let the learning management system send out that email saying about the certificate, or would you mimic something using the WooCommerce email editor, the two that you've shown?
Yeah, when I think of the word certificate, I'm thinking of like a completion certificate, not just like an email saying, "Hey, you finished the course."
No,
so, you know, something you'd print on a wall, put in a frame that says, "I'm licensed." Right. Okay, for that, because they have tools that make those things, it would be neat to get the real PDF. But for the you just finished a quiz or you got a score of 87%, what I'm saying is, those emails could go out. You could let them be sent natively by the course. That's fine. But for many of the things that are just mundane, you could instead streamline your process and have all the emails, let's say, coming out of your CRM or all the emails coming out of WooCommerce. And the reason is for not having things strewn about. You know, we all have the Marie Kondo, where are my socks in the sock drawer. If you know that like 90% of your transactions email are happening here and just a couple things, now it's, oh, I get it. Like everything is at a fingertip.
I totally agree with you. Another thing which a lot of the people that approach WP-Tonic for support and hosting and that find a bit confusing when either they're using Lifter LMS or LearnDash. They have confusion with either one. Is when people register for a course, you know, how they set up so they're not thrown into the back end of WordPress, that they've taken to a custom interface, and then the administrators of the course are taken to a different interface, who you might have more than one instructor, you know, and the whole registration and setting up a login page on the front of the site that goes. I feel, I wonder if you agree, I don't feel that LearnDash or Lifter LMS do a great job of explaining how to do it. And also, they actually advise you different methodologies, different ways of doing it, using different plugins. It seems very confusing. Using this stack, does it become a lot more easier to work out the registration and that?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the number one benefit, as well as the reason to do this method and use our stack of recommended stuff. Here's why. As you alluded to, all the plugins have their own capacity, because what if somebody's using them by themselves to do these things, registering, logging in, taking money? But just because you have 6 cars in your garage doesn't mean you should shove them all into the back of one car and try to use 6 cars at once. You need one way to onboard a user. WooCommerce has it perfected. In the same way I just showed you, as simple as just an email, probably first name, last name, and email. That's enough to gracefully and automatically register somebody. Now, there's 2 types of registrations. If you have somebody who is a cold lead or a lukewarm prospect, you may not need or want them inside of your WordPress site yet. In which case, we want to just send them automatically to our CRM, but not necessarily have them registered and logged in yet. Now, that's rare, because in my case, I always lean towards, hey, I want everybody, come on into the lobby of my health club and check out the pool and the bikes and the Peloton. I want them in the lobby of my WordPress site because then they can see everything and I can track them. So the second way is to do a free transaction onboarding, which I just showed. And using a free product to onboard them as a user allows those things to happen. Registered and logged in, gets a tag, synced to my CRM, and as I showed, they can be either directed right to the course or the free thing that they're sampling, or I can give them a thank you page that gives them choices. That takes the place of using the unusual and quirky individual onboarding sales and other things of all the plugins. Same idea, Marie Kondo. All my socks are in that sock drawer. All my registration logins, first, what they see are all happening in the My Account area because of WooCommerce. And you never have to get divorced from WooCommerce because it's a free plugin and everything works for it. Whereas maybe down the road, you want to swap out your LMS, or maybe down the road, you want to swap out another kind of a plugin. If all your registration membership is done with the plugin that you're married to for life, you'll never have to worry about that problem having to be fixed.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, but I think you agree with me that both LearnDash and Lift LMS, it's actually it's easier to use the WooCommerce actually than
it's confusing because, like, if you like different kinds of cars, right? We were just using the metaphor. Some car, the shifter moves this way and the brakes work that way and the steering, like there's differences between them. It's not that they're worse or better. They're fine. It's that who wants to learn 6 different ways of putting things together? In Lego blocks, you know why they're so successful? Because nobody's melting plastics or figuring out how to snap them together. You just take this and it snaps to that. In IKEA, there's more stuff, but everybody's happy because you buy anything and there's no words in the directions. You have to follow pictures, but any language, any country can assemble it, and it matches everything else you could buy in the store. So there's very little chance of you buying something that doesn't work with something else. That's the difference in WordPress. We have all these amazing plugins, including Lifter, LearnDash, and so forth. In the old days, there was very few of them, so they tried to do everything for everybody. Now we don't want them to do that. We want the LearnDash or Lifter to do one thing: organize content and make the LMS the best possible. We'll leave the onboarding transactional member stuff to WordPress, to WooCommerce. That's it.
Yeah, we've got a question here, but I don't think we can do this now. But the next webinar, we probably do this. And it came an anonymous attendee. Can you show us how to create a new checkout page with Elementor from scratch? But
sure. Well, I mean, I can show you just the back end, but
yeah.
here's what's interesting about it. What LaunchFlows does, because people, what is LaunchFlows doing? LaunchFlows modifies the ability to have the products and the checkouts do things. But it works with Elementor so well because you can just literally create a page, 2 seconds, that's a checkout, and then, like, if you took an X-Acto knife, you can like slice out the pieces and just move them around the page with other stuff. So I'll give you a quick example here of just, I'm not going to do a whole page, but I'll just show you like.
Oh, well, we could probably do that the next
yeah,
webinar.
because it's beyond what you need to do, but I'm going to show you how fast it is to create a checkout. So I'm going to go set this up and share the page. So I'll go to the back end of my dashboard here. And again, this is something that I have hundreds of videos on already at our LaunchFlows YouTube channel.
So those that are with us on live and those that are watching this on Facebook and that, Spencer's got a ton of good educational resources that show you how to do this.
Okay, so here's how with LaunchFlows you create a new checkout page. And this works with many post types. It works with pages, posts, lessons, even products. But on a regular page, you just say, John's custom checkout. What's interesting is LaunchFlows lets you have more than one checkout page. You can have an unlimited number of pages and they can be specific to one or more products. So you can literally have a checkout page you just send people to, and they can just choose the products there, add them to the cart, click, click, click. So here's the 3 steps. Give it a name. Choose either the full width or canvas. Canvas means no header or footer, like, just want the whole screen. Full width has the header and footer. Click publish. 1, 2, 3, I've just created a checkout page. Now, what does this look like? On the front end, it looks exactly like your regular WooCommerce checkout would. I have a product in here right now. Let me remove that product. So it looks like a default WooCommerce checkout. But what I can do is click Elementor, and I won't go through all of this. If I click Elementor, now I can drag and drop the pieces that I want around the page. And there's different like things you might want to do. You might have mix and match and do design. So here with Elementor, I say maybe a 2-column layout. I then type in the word LaunchFlows, and I can choose from either our main component widget, which is really easy because I can, maybe I want to put the billing fields here. Or I can choose one of our power widgets, which is like, maybe I want to put an upsell here, right? Or put a donation form in. So let's do a donation form. And what happens here is I can set up the donation with whatever product I want. So 39657 is a product. And I just say what the button should say. So, click to update. And then I say donation amount. And that lets me have a cool widget. Then if I want, I can, of course, style the button colors or, the fields, all the normal stuff. But watch what happens. There'll be some extra stuff at the bottom because I haven't finished getting rid of the other things that are there. But when I look at this page, now essentially I've got the components at the top that I want. And I have to deal with like, do I want to keep these other pieces or move them around? But you get the idea that in just 2 seconds, in fact, what the heck? Let's just do real quick. If I just take this coupon, that's annoying me, right? So let's put the coupon down low. So I choose another component and I say, put the coupon down here. And then I have that additional fields thing that I can either hide or I can put below. So I'll put that here, additional fields, and maybe I just want to hide it. So I'll just say advanced, responsive, and I say hide this. I click update, and now let's look at our checkout page. And now I have one last piece. I've got the order review and checkout. So what I would do with this is I'll probably put it on the right side. So I'll duplicate it, pop this on the right side. I'll choose order review. I passed right by it. And let's put the payment right below it, and I'm done. So let's see what it looks like. Payment. What's different, what I like about the new version of LaunchFlows is it starts you out with the checkout page. So many people don't even bother with modifying the site. Like they just use the default checkout and they use the power of the, being able to modify how the thing works, not the design. But let me show you one last thing here since I'm here. Remember I said how you can make a one-page checkout that somebody can either get the products automatically or add them in. We have this order bump, which allows you to put any product you want right on the page. So remember I had that product that I was offering, 39657. I can pop that right on the page. And what this means is as simple as that. I've got a checkout page there has this custom URL called John's Checkout. If I'm running a sales funnel and I just want you to be able to buy this, I can just give them this URL. And when they come to the page, they just click the button and it immediately will put that product into that checkout. Now, one of the things you want to do here is also, real quick, I'm running fast. What if it was an automatic, like always in the checkout? There's another widget we have that does the same thing, except you don't even have to choose it. You can literally drop the product here and it will always be on the page. And again, because I don't want to spend all day with this, the benefit of this is that literally you don't have to ever show somebody like a product.
I think it was fantastic, and we will show more of this in our next webinar, but I've got to wrap it up now. I've got but I think it's been an excellent webinar, and I think you've done a fantastic job. And I think my questions weren't too all over the place. I think I kept on subject. So those that are with us live, thank you so much. And we're going to end.
Worth mentioning too. Sorry, and I agree, by the way, John, questions were terrific. I think those were exactly the kind of things that I get frequently anyway, so I'm glad you brought them up. Anybody who is experiencing this or wants to try it out, go to launchflows.com and click the free 7-day trial. There's no cost, no obligation. The exact thing I'm playing with here is in place. The latest version that's on there is one step below what I showed you in the demo, but most of the same things are exactly the same. The video's in there. And we're currently running various sales. So I don't know when this video will be watched, but there's always a sale. Right now we're at the holiday season, so there's that Black Friday thing, but there's always a sale that will be available and obvious. So check out the sale price. But in general, everything is a no obligation. So it's 30 days, try it. If you don't agree, just give it back.
That's very generous.
Well, that's just the way we roll.
So I'll be setting up a page where and I'll be sending out to everybody that registered we'll be setting up a page on the WP-Tonic with with all the links to all the products that we've talked about. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next month, where we'll be delving even deeper into this fascinating subject and area. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks, guys.